Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty amazing for anyone thinking about buying a home in Italy. We're talking about the Prima Casa benefits, which can literally save you a ton of cash. The dream of owning a home in Italy, it's a big one, right? The lifestyle, the food, all of it. But let's get real for a second. The costs, they can seem totally overwhelming. All those taxes and fees can feel like a huge barrier. And that's exactly where the Prima Casa advantage comes into play. Think of it as Italy's secret weapon for first-time buyers. It's a whole package of tax breaks designed to slash those upfront costs and make homeownership actually achievable. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the tax breaks themselves. Then, we'll check out who's actually eligible. After that, we'll talk about what you can do after you buy. There's more flexibility than you think. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways. All right, let's jump right into the good stuff. The money. How much can you actually save? This is where you'll really see just how powerful these Prima Casa benefits are. Okay, check this out. Normally, if you're buying from a private seller, you'd be looking at a 9% registration tax. 9%. With the Prima Casa benefit that plummets all the way down to just 2%. And here's the kicker. This tax isn't even on the sale price, it's on the cadastral value. That's the official tax value, which is almost always way, way lower than what you actually pay. The savings here are just huge. And what if you're buying from a construction company, like a new build? Well, the standard VAT is 10%. The benefit cuts that by more than half, taking it down to a much friendlier 4%. Now, this is where you can really see the difference side by side. I mean, look at those percentages. Dropping from 9 to 2 or 10 to 4, that's massive. But the real game changer, it's the mortgage and cadastral taxes. Instead of being these scary percentages of your property's value, they become these tiny little fixed fees. We're talking about savings of thousands of euros right off the bat. And believe it or not, it gets even better. The savings don't just stop when you sign the papers. If you're selling a home you previously bought with these benefits to get a new one, there's a tax credit for you. And there's an ongoing perk. You can deduct 19% of your mortgage interest from your income tax every year, up to 4,000 euros. That's literally cash back in your pocket year after year. So, with benefits this good, you're probably wondering, okay, what's the catch? Do I qualify? Well, the good news is the requirements are actually pretty clear and straightforward. Let's walk through the checklist. Okay, it really boils down to three main things. First up is residency. The home has to be in the same town or municipality where you already live or where you work. If not, no problem. You just have to promise to move your residency there within 18 months. Second, the property type. It can't be officially classified as a luxury home. And third, ownership. This is a big one. You can't own another home in that same town, and you can't own any other property anywhere that you've already bought using these Prima Casa breaks. So what exactly does non-luxury mean? You might be picturing something complicated, but the government is super specific about this. We're talking about official property categories like A1, stately homes, A8, villas, and A9, get this, castles and palaces. Yeah, actual castles. So unless you're in the market for a medieval fortress, chances are your dream home is going to qualify just fine. Now, here's a really important update coming in for 2025 that adds a whole lot of flexibility. It used to be that if you already owned a Prima Casa, you were kind of blocked from using the benefits again. But now, you can buy a new first home and still get all those awesome tax breaks. The one condition, you have to sell your old place within 1 year of buying the new one. This is a total game changer for people whose families are growing or who need to move for work. Okay, so you've done it. You bought the house, you got the tax breaks. Amazing. A lot of people think this means you're now chained to that property with a bunch of rigid rules. But let's bust that myth, because you actually have a surprising amount of freedom after you get the keys. This is probably the #1 question we see. Do I have to live in this house forever to keep the benefits? And I'm very happy to say the answer is a big, fat no. Look, the only thing that really matters is that initial 18-month period. You have to establish your residency in that town within that time frame. Once you've checked that box, you're golden. Your obligation is fulfilled. After that, you are totally free to move your residency somewhere else. Heck, you can move to another country, and you won't have to pay back a single cent of those initial tax savings. You've also got options if you're thinking about renting the place out. Let's say you just rent out a spare room while you're still living there. In that case, you keep all the benefits. No problem. Now, what if you move out completely and rent out the entire property? You still get to keep those huge tax breaks from when you first bought it. The only thing you'd lose are some of the ongoing perks, like certain tax exemptions. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but the flexibility is there. Whew, that was a lot of info. So let's just take a breath and boil it all down. What are the absolute key things you need to walk away with? Here's why this matters to you. First, it massively cuts down the amount of cash you need upfront to buy a home. Second, it keeps saving you money every single year with things like mortgage deductions. Third, the rules to qualify are clear and for most people, totally achievable. And finally, it gives you a ton of flexibility for your future. You're not locked in. You can move, you can rent. It's designed to work with your life. So there you have it. The Prima Casa Advantage isn't just some tiny little discount. It's a really powerful tool designed to make owning a home in Italy a realistic goal, not just a far-off dream. You've got the benefits, you've got the rules. The only question left is, what's your next move?